This presentation is done on bullying. The main point is, why do people bully? How does it affect a person? Who does it affect? And reasons why bullying happens. So this presentation is important because it notifies you of the fact that bullying causes a lot of damage to a person, especially the one being bullied. I want to inform you that it doesn't just affect somebody at this time right now, but forever. So why do people bully? People bully because they need dominance, because it gives them power, because they have to have something to prove. There's all sorts of reasons why people bully. What is bullying? So bullying is a continual harassment or hazing from one person to another. It is not just a one-time name calling or teasing or something like that. It is a continual deal, a habitual act. I was bullied as a kid, which makes this presentation pretty important to me. Mine was not quite physical, but it left a lot of damage. My daughter went through heavy bullying where it wasn't just verbal, it was physical, and she was held to a fence by her neck, and she was poked in the eye, and she was made to go days without eating her lunch. And I tried to help her resolve the situation, but it did not work. I went to the school, it did not work. And in most cases, especially in my situation, I had to get violent, and it should never get that way. Why do we have these no tolerance acts in school for bullying if they're not going to stand by it? I mean, when I took my daughter's situation to the principal, she came back and said, I don't know what you want us to do about it, Miss Taylor. We don't beat the kids around here. Yeah, I suppose you don't, right? But do something. There's suspensions, there's all sorts of things that can be done alongside beating them. So anyway, I just want to bring to light some information on not just the person being bullied, but the perspective of the bully and the witness. So bullying can happen to anyone for any reason. It is not something that is discriminative. So although schools have anti-bullying policies put into place and no tolerance rules put into place, a lot of these go unnoticed and unreported out of fear, out of thinking that maybe you could just handle it yourself, it's no big deal. There's all sorts of reasons. But it wasn't until reports really came through that kids were committing suicide over being bullied that schools really put these programs into place. So bullying is more than just teasing, and it can happen to anyone for any reason, as I said. And if it goes untreated, it can lead to physical, emotional, and psychological problems. It doesn't just affect a person, the bully, but the person being bullied and the witnesses as well. Therefore, research suggests that bullying is a very complex issue that needs to be examined through the perspectives of the people involved. So what is bullying? So according to Andrea Young-Jones, who wrote a book, Bullying Affects More Than Just Feelings, in 2015, she says that it is more than just a person simply teasing another. It is a continual harassment or hazing of one individual toward another. Webster defines bullying as the abuse or mistreatment of someone towards someone else. That person could be stronger, more powerful, etc. It doesn't matter. It's just that abuse or harassment, because for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so how does bullying affect a person? Well, in some cases, it is very physical, and the person can feel sick. They can miss days of school. It can make them sad. It can affect them emotionally. It can make them angry. I mean, if it goes on for a long time, they can be very angry. They can show loss of appetite and other issues that can come along with that. But if it goes untreated, it can progress, and psychological issues can come around from it. It can lead to depression. It can lead to anxiety problems, and in extreme cases, it can lead to suicide for the person that is being bullied. So if this appears, we need to get them help, get to the root of it, why, and bring in the bully. We got to get them help, and the witnesses, if there's any that witness this, witnesses are just as affected by this as the person actually being bullied. So how does it affect their school or their school days and things like that? Well, it's estimated that 54 million kids skip school, according to the Justin Patchen in 2016 Cyberbullying Research Center, out of fear. And 28% between 6th and 7th grade actually had been bullied, while 70% say they witnessed bullying. And here's an actual graph showing these statistics. And again, this comes from Cyberbullying Research Center in 2016 by Samir Hajan and Justin Patchen. So this shows you the amount of kids that skip school for bullying reasons. So this brings us to the next point of who does it affect? Well, bullying affects the bully. And how? Because the bully can face jail time if they're old enough, and it progresses far enough, it can affect them in their job choices when they're older, especially if they have a record. It can lead to school suspension or missed days of school, and it could also lead to much harsher things. I mean, the person that's witnessing the bullying, they miss days of school, which affects their academics, which again can affect their job choices when they're older. They might not get into a good college. It could be, things like that. They could feel scared. It could affect their emotional. It can affect them, probably not as psychologically, but if it escalates, the longer it's allowed to progress, the more it escalates and the more dangerous it becomes. And it affects, of course, the person being bullied all the way around. They're physically, psychologically, and emotionally. We discussed that a little bit earlier. Mark Dombeck, who wrote The Long-Term Effects of Bullying in 2014, states that it's not necessary to be physically harmed in order for these things to leave lasting effects. That's absolutely true. I was physically harmed, I was not physically harmed. My daughter was. She doesn't show really any effects from it yet. She missed several days of school while it was happening, but it seems to be okay now. I, on the other hand, have anxiety disorder and PTSD from my experiences as a teenager in the junior high. So it does have lasting effects, and sometimes it can lead to continual abuse on the behalf of the bully if it's not stopped. So victims often don't tell on their bully for numerous reasons. One, because they're afraid. If the school can't do anything and the parents don't do anything, then they have to face the bully again, and it could be worse next time. So they don't tell out of fear. They also don't tell because they're embarrassed. And so this allows the bullying to go on for a long time. The people being bullied really need counseling. The bully themselves, the witnesses, and the people actually being bullied. So, in conclusion, bullying affects anyone for any reason. And research suggests, once again, that bullying is a very complex issue that really needs to be examined from the perspective of the people. Take on the bully's perspective, the witness's perspective, and the person being bullied in order to get a full understanding of why it happens and how to stop it. So thank you, and that is all I have.